There was something I had to take care of before class. It would interrupt the lecture if I let it wait, and that was something I could not allow. I had arrived in front of the bathroom only to see a cleaning in progress sign hanging on the front. It seemed I had chosen a poor time. I had no choice but to use a bathroom on one of the other floors. There wasn't much time until class, so I realized I needed to hurry. Oh, goodness gracious, really? These are the choices that are presented in our life.
Do I go upstairs or do I go downstairs?
I think we will go upstairs. And this is what I'm thinking, because if I really had to poop, going downstairs, those minor impacts would just make me have to poop more. So I'm going to go upstairs and hope that that would be easier. I don't know. I arrived on the third floor, primarily used by the seniors. This was the other reason. I'm like, well, I mean, if we're going to meet some cute girl on our way to the toilet, let's make sure she's a cute older girl. Generally, there are no need for underclassmen to come to this floor, and so it was my first time here. Even though it was right before class, there were many students still chatting in the hallway. Surprisingly irresponsible for upperclassmen, I thought. But I suppose a sense of responsibility is something you only pick up with time, and that was one of those things you learned as a student after all. I said a prayer that they would get the most out of their school days as I headed for the bathroom. Luckily, the custodian had already finished cleaning this bathroom. I like the idea that he's going to the bathroom and he's just like, Dear Kami, please make these students have a sense of responsibility in the coming years, as I do. I used the Just Clean toilet, then washed my hands. That is the toilet to use. Next, my eyes fell on a balled up wad of paper in the trash can. Obviously there was nothing unusual about there being trash in a trash can, but it caught my eye for two reasons. First, the bathroom had just been cleaned, so the trash can should have been empty. Second, I saw the word verily written at one edge of the balled up piece of paper. Okay, I knew it was coming, but regardless. I was hesitant to pick it up for a moment, but I couldn't just disregard it either. Today was another frightful heat. Thus, I filled a tub and took a bath in the room whilst my leash was at school. 'Twas then that I felt a gaze from an open window. Thought I did that there might be a peeping Tom, but 'twas only the dog next door. Lured he was, perhaps by the scent of the sausages I was saving for later. Regretfully, I would not have hand over the sausages, but as the dog carried with him the slight odor, I washed with me in the tub? Oh, okay. For how can one feel self-conscious whilst bathing with a dog? Strange though it was that the dog's penis grew to a formidable size whilst I washed him. Verily, a curious animal. Really? This is something that had to happen at all? Oh. Oh, really? I looked around to make sure no one was watching, then quickly recovered the diary page and tucked it in my pocket. Really, what was going on here? Should I just talk to Jack directly? Yes. Diaries were private, delicate matters. Even if I asked him directly, I would need to do some investigation so as to know how to bring it up. Thinking over it vaguely, I returned to my classroom. By the time I arrived at the door, I had completely forgotten about the diary. Ooh, voice.
Alright, the study we've just read forms the basis for a historical idiom you all know well.
The teacher continued his lecture. The students worked furiously to copy the notes from the blackboard. Whoops, wrong button. The Balborans have been very quiet lately. Generally speaking, that should have been a good thing, but knowing that they were planning something just made their inactivity more unsettling. I mean, what are they planning? Oh, those accursed Balborans.
And, now then, Kazumi, do you, know of, the idiom, what idiom, that is, this is? Is there something wrong, child? I don't think it's that difficult, myself, that, take a deep breath, maybe perhaps, and think back, on the story, that was a story about. What was indeed, the story, in fact, about?
A good horse, ran away. Wow. A good horse ran away, which was definitely a bad thing. But then that mean old man kept saying it wasn't necessarily bad, and I don't know. I know he was trying to comfort the people, but I don't think it was very appropriate of him.
Well, that's quite an interesting interpretation. You heard me the first time.
What? But an old man who knows says it's good when a bad thing happens, and that's it's a bad when good things and it would get on my nerves so much.
Snickers and whispers picked up around her. It was clear she was thinking it over very hard, but she was so flustered she couldn't get the answer out.
Yes, that's quite enough, everyone. You try that, Yuki.
Yes, sir. It's the parable of Sai's horse. Inscrutable are the ways of heaven.
That is very correct. I assumed you would all have heard the saying, all human affairs are like Sai's horse. But I guess that is not necessarily, in this case, obviously so.
The students gave their various responses. I've heard it, or I haven't heard it. There were quite a few people who had heard it, but it certainly wasn't decisive.
So then, yes, a little more than half, it would seem. Well, I was young, everyone knew it, but I see, perhaps, maybe it's not used so often today in this day and age of televised such programs and whatnot.
Yeah, that's that's probably it. Sorry.
Oh, well, I'm not scolding you for it or anything, obviously. There's quite a number of people in the class who don't know these things, and language is a living thing. It changes day by day, much like the flowers do sometimes in the summertime. There's nothing wrong with it at all. All of the classical languages and Chinese literature you're studying now were once, and were then, the standards of the day.
I will study as hard as I can.
Well, I do hope so. You're a very enthusiastic student. We're always saying it in our staff room, which we do on quite a number of occasions, have said, done, and you just don't seem as good at Chinese literature compared to, other such subjects as math and what have yous.
Kazumi was crimson with embarrassment. It was only natural that a foreigner of Japanese descent would... Oh, okay. It was only natural that a foreigner of Japanese descent would have a hard time with traditional Japanese sayings. But Kazumi was an affable person. She seemed to be working hard to ingratiate herself to everyone in the class. She's a model student, really.
Anyways, back to the lesson at hand. If you will, please, class, everyone, Ichimonji in particular, would you read the passage from beginning to end just the once, please?
Yes, sir. Ichimonji stood when her name was called and began her reading in her clear voice. She was also an excellent student. She gives me a harder time than she does the teachers and other students, though. Even so, she talked to me an awful lot. Like that one time. Is that it? Oh, okay. What is going on?
Officer Durant, aren't you finished yet? It will be done soon. I'll be meeting the deadline you gave. Why can't you aim for 5 minutes earlier? I expect an inventor to be more prepared. As you say, madam. I always give 150% for you, Lieutenant Hilko.
Yeah, like you got the right to lecture people on their speed.
What was that you'd say now?
Yeah, nothing.
Now for the final screw. It is done! The greatest achievement of Balbora's greatest inventor, Brainiac Duran. I can barely see it. Let me have a look. What is this? A bug? You made it look like a bug. Lieutenant Hilko, don't be so handling it so. You'll dirty up my invention.
Wow, what have I done with you? What have I done with your voice?
I do hate fussy men. Tools are made to get dirty. Now, why did you make it look like this?
Oh, so this is your latest invention, eh?
'Tis a perfect replica, a miniature insectoid transmitter.
Well, Lieutenant Hilko, get over here for a second, would you?
Don't you touch it! You would break it! You would!
Sheesh. No one trusts me around here.
And there's a reason for that, you know.
Shut up.
I don't want to touch it. You did make it to my specifications, didn't you? I have got the technological strength of Balbora behind me. It will work within a 50-kilometer radius. I see. Very well done. I thought about giving you a kiss as a reward, But I've changed my mind after all. This ugly thing is not what I ordered. There's nothing to reward you for. But...
That is seriously low, Hilko.
What choice do I have to give an insect to a beauteous beauty such as I?
So, what's the plan of yours, huh? You can't use the transmitter unless Striker Zero shows up.
Well, obviously, I just have to make a situation where he has no choice but to appear.
Well, I think I can imagine a couple of situations such as that.
What was that you said just now? I don't believe I like your tone.
Hey, you're going to have Officer Orson pretend to take you hostage, right? So you can bewitch him with your womanly charms or whatever.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, got it in one, didn't I?
I really have just no idea what you're talking about.
Goodness, she plays
Tsundere? I have no idea.
She plays a goodness. She plays a tsundere well, don't she?
I have no idea what that means. What is that word?
What the?
What
What was that? That came from the town, didn't it? That explosion. Must be the work of the Bellborn Empire. That explosion. It must be the work of the Bellborn Empire. The classroom was immediately in chaos. Oh, do calm down. You won't accomplish much of anything if by panicking, and certainly no lessons.
But teacher, was that another gas explosion?
Well, I'm sure I have no idea what it was. I'm just going to go to the staff room to check. Everyone, just stay here. Remain calm. Okay?
Okay, sir.
They all nodded obediently, eager to find out what was going on. Seeing that, the teacher left the room.
Hey, what do you think is up? I mean, someone mentioned a gas explosion, or do you think it's terrorists?
I don't know. It certainly sounded like an explosion, but there's just really no way to know.
I guess that's true. But what could it be?
I'm a little worried. I hope it's nothing but... Yuki, where are you going?
Yamato-kun?
Come on, Yuki. For heaven's sake. Where do you think you're going? I'm just gonna go to the bathroom. I don't need accompaniment. I wasn't going to accompany you. Women seem to like to go in pairs. I was only just, I was letting you know. Your jokes are the worst. You're hopeless. Anyways, I'll be back. You can't just use the bathroom during class, I mean, I know there are times when you just, have to go, but yeah, this is just, it's an emergency.
Then go ahead. I guess, Yamato-kun. I mean, I'm apparently in the position of authority to grant such requests.
Yeah, thanks. I cast her a glance, then left the room. It goes without saying that I wasn't really heading to the bathroom. ...